Welcome everyone to this new episode. I'm your host Alex Figueroa, and before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and smash that bell button so every time new videos are out weekly, you guys will be notified. All right guys, so this is going to be very out of the norm because this is not a 4K disc review. This is a 4K digital review. That's right. I purchased Charlie's Angels from 2019 on my Apple TV 4K because I wanted to see what's the difference between the 4K on the Apple TV version than the disc that I buy that are in 4K. So that's going to be very different in this channel. And I know for a fact a lot of the people that follow this channel love that I give away digital codes on Fridays. I know I'm not doing it for this Friday. Please bear with me, guys, because of course with this whole virus, I can't go out to Best Buy to pick up new movies so I can give it away to my fans of this channel. But next week, I will be giving away a digital code copy of A Quiet Place. I will be covering the Steelbook version of A Quiet Place. I'm giving it away. So that's right. I'm giving away A Quiet Place digital code for you guys. So hold off for that. But for today, I'm going to be covering a 4K digital version of Charlie's Angels 2019. So let's get right into it. This movie, I give this a 3 out of 5. Elizabeth Banks writes and directs this movie and stars in it, and she plays Bosley. Now, the way they did it with the Bosley, which is so weird, Patrick Stewart is the oldest Bosley, and he basically came up with the Charlie's Angels in the movie, the Charlie's Angels theme, that like the whole unit. He came up with that in this movie, which I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So he put together the TV show, and he put together the Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Drew Barrymore version of the Charlie's Angels. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So he's retiring in this movie, but then there's like 8 other Bosleys in the room. So I was like, oh, this is weird. But in terms of Naomi Scott, Kristen Stewart, and the other actress, they were okay. They're not, I mean, they had good chemistry, I could say. Not that great of a chemistry like Charlie's Angels should have, but they were okay together. Just the plot of the movie was decent. It wasn't like all like the grand of grands. It was a decent, basic action movie plot, I guess you want to say. You have the bad guy. There's a twist in the movie. I'm not going to spoil the movie. There's like twists and turns here. And the action sequences, I got to say, are pretty good. Very fast paced. So you could tell that the actresses are not really fighting in some of these scenes. So I'm just a little like, eh. But in terms of the movie itself, look, what I got to say, look, I gave this a 3 out of 5 because I was kind of entertained. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to give this a 5 or a 4. I gave it a 3. And I wasn't going to give it a 2 or 1 because honestly, that's kind of wrong for me to do it just to do it. I gave this a 3 out of 5. I was entertained. The action was pretty good. I was intrigued into the movie until the final ending. Like you could say the third act kind of fell apart. Other than that, the first 2 acts, I was kind of into it. I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. But again, on the third act, it kind of fell apart. You have cheesy acting. You have the whole girl power thing, you know, they all changing get-ups, which you could suspect in a Charlie's Angels type of a movie. So I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Now, in terms of the digital 4K, it was actually really clear. And I'm not even going to lie to you. This is not even coming from a disc because I always buy physical copies of my movies. This is the first time I actually buy a brand new movie digitally to watch. The 4K version of this movie digitally was actually really good. It was really clear. The Dolby and the HDR was actually really good. Now, are there micro blockings in this? Maybe a little bit. Like not a lot, but you see a little bit. And for those who don't know what micro blocking is basically when the film is actually so compressed that you see these little boxes on the pixel, like in the picture. So it looks like it's pixelated, but it's actually not. They like micro boxes. Like it just looks horrible, like a really compressed file. You get a little bit of it, but then it disappears and then you're good because it smooths it all out. So again, it's not as bad like that unless, like I said, unless you got the disc version, then you're all right. It is really good and it looks smooth. But in terms of the digital 4K, I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was actually really clear. In terms of the video was actually super clear. The color was warm. The details are detailing in this movie version. I was like, wow. I was like, actually, the Apple TV looks really good. Like I thought it was going to be like very compressed, horrible looking, but no, you could actually see the details on this movie. If you have great internet speed and a great TV, and of course the Apple 4K TV to help out also, then you're in good shape. Because honestly, I gave this a 4 out of 5 on video. And normally I give 4 out of 5 even in my actual disc versions of the 4K. So that is pretty good. And I could not find anything wrong with that. And I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Now, in terms of audio, you're getting great audio. I had great audio coming out of this speakers coming from the Apple TV. And I was really happy with that. In terms of extra features, I give this a 4 out of 5. You get tons of extra features on this. So I wanted to see if you get a lot of the extra features in the 4K version. So I have to go to Best Buy and see what extra features on the disc versus the Blu-ray of Charlie's Angels 2019. But in terms of the iTunes, they give you tons of features. You got the gag reel, you got the making of, the actresses sit down and talk about their characters and how they had chemistry working together. Then you have Elizabeth Banks breaking down her character. So, and then you got a tons, like 5 minutes and I believe with 5 minutes and 35 minutes of deleted and extended scenes. So to me, that's worth it. And I gave this a 4 out of 5 in extra extra features of this like version of the movie. So this is a 20 out of 25 for a 4K digital, guys. Okay. Comparing it to a 4K disc version, that's actually really, really, really good for it. Overall, it's a 20 out of 25. Like I said, overall rating is a 3 out of 5. I say if you're a fan of Charlie's Angels, give this a shot. Buy it for $20. You're not going to go wrong digitally, or wait till the virus dissipates and then go out to Best Buy and buy yourself this movie. If it's on sale and you want to throw it with your Cameron Diaz version and the TV show version of Charlie's Angels, then it's worth it. All right, guys. So again, guys, to me, this is a 3 out of 5. Is it worth buying? For those who enjoyed it. For me, it was okay. I enjoyed that I brought this digitally. I would not have been happy if I brought this in the physical copy of it. But honestly, I would have been entertained either way. So I would have been happy with it. So honestly, I do recommend it. I'm going to be really honest with you. The picture quality is great. The audio is great. And the story that they're telling was okay and decent. And if you want all that stuff, you have action. The girls actually look cute in their dresses and sexy, action sexy. And that's what they're trying to go with. Then guess what? Go out and check out Charlie's Angels. You guys might enjoy it. It's not that horrible. The trailer looked god awful for this movie. But guys, check out my podcast with Ken from Mid-Level Media. We have a podcast, a cinema podcast, and episode 2 is live now on Apple iTunes and Stitcher. And also you can check out our YouTube channel, search for Levels of Geek Podcast. Subscribe and enjoy. If you guys like that episode, please leave a comment there. Or if you listen to it on Apple iTunes, Levels of Geek Podcast, or Stitcher at Levels of Geek Podcast, please leave a rating and a comment. We'll appreciate it. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this review, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, smash that bell button. So every time new videos are out weekly, you guys will be notified. Until then, geek out.